Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? You ready for this?
Yo, 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 let's go.
Okay. What are we talking about?
How you annoy me. But that should
Oh,
not be where where it stops. I should not judge you for your annoyingness. No, you shared a story in the Kinetic Man chat today. Actually, we have multiple chats. This one is pretty cool because we have a one of the chats we have is no kidding, it's just a prayer chat, right? Like I have a separate chat that I'm in today that's a fasting group, and you're not in that group because you don't fast. Because you're weak. But what's cool about these groups within the group is that it's smaller venues for very, very specific focused things, right? And one of them is prayer. We have a prayer group. So hey, you post in there if you need specific prayer. Like I said, the fasting group, we have a small group of dudes reading the Bible. Like we have these very intentional. So we have this group of men who are extremely intentional, the Kinetic Man, right? Everybody in the tribe is extremely intentional, but some men are a little more intentional in different areas. So we have these very, very focused groups of no kidding, like much smaller subsets of dudes that are absolutely dedicated to whatever it is that they're focused on. And so all that context to say, one, surround yourself with people who like actually want to do something, be different, make a change, like have an impact and like no kidding, dive deep. But in the prayer group today, you posted something and you got super emotional, surprise, surprise. But if you don't mind sharing just kind of and what I found particularly interesting is how that the whole interaction started, right?
yeah.
It ended in a prayer for a guy, but it didn't start there. And that's what I found fascinating.
Yeah, man. Um, so this morning I typically go to the gym 3 times a week. I do early mornings. I get to the gym when it opens at 5 a.m. and try to knock out a workout from like 5 to 6 and get back about 6:30 when my kids are getting up and getting ready for school, so I can be there to help with that. And I'd gotten a little bit off on a late start. I was about 15 minutes behind schedule. And so I was walking into the gym about 5:15, and this elderly gentleman was coming in behind me, and he had his phone playing at a pretty loud volume, like classic rock. And he was in like his like chaps and his like leather jacket, like he had just gotten off of his Harley, his motorcycle. And I walked in, scanned my card, check in. And he comes in behind me, and he still has his music going. And I was just kind of like annoyed by it. One, I was kind of like behind schedule. I was late. It was 5 a.m. I was a little still, half asleep. But he comes in and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he like says hello to the two ladies at the front desk and is like super, super like friendly and jovial. And he continues to follow me into the locker room. We're kind of getting dressed, getting ready for our workouts, and he's saying hello and wanting to talk to me, and I'm like kind of just very short, quick, and like trying to get out of there so I so I can go get my workout on. Um, that'll happens. Go and get my workout on, come back, and he happens to be coming back into the locker room at the same time, right? Again, I'm a little behind schedule, so I'm somewhat kind of trying to get out of there quickly so I can get back to help get my kids up and going. And I'm wearing a T-shirt from our buddy Jake Roberts. He is in San Diego. He does a youth sports ministry through soccer. It's a program called Waves. And the gentleman asked me what that was. And so I stopped, took the time when I was telling him about what Waves is and tell him it's a youth ministry for kids in San Diego, leading them to Christ. And he immediately just started just pouring in, like telling me about his life story, telling me about when he found God. And then he said that, he started riding motorcycles and he had a motorcycle crash. And when he went to the hospital, he found out he had bone cancer, and his bone cancer had been spread from prostate cancer. And his doctor told him that he had 4 months, anywhere from 4 months to 5 years to live. This was all in the men's locker room, half naked, sweaty, and all based on just, I was wearing a t-shirt. And Man, it it just took me by surprise that he just opened up like that. But the amazing thing was is that he was just so high on life. Like he was just so happy and joyous. And he was just like, yeah, I'm okay with this information. I'm okay with this news that I might die because I know Jesus is sitting right next to me. I have the loving support of all my family and close friends. And like he was good with it. And he was just like wanting to talk about Jesus as much as he possibly could and just be friendly and spread joy. And like, man, I was just blown away and my mood completely changed right then and there. And I was like, man, I just completely judged this dude, for his loud music at 5 a.m. and his motorcycle chaps uh, and I took it for granted for acknowledging who this individual was. But I don't know, man. It was a powerful, impactful uh, event that happened to me this morning.
Yeah, dude, so many lessons in that too. And it got me thinking about the opportunities lost for me to show love and kindness to others. And it's an interesting thing, this, especially as a believer, right? But even as, for if you're not, but for in the context of being a believer, we are literally called to not judge. Not called. Calling is sounds we are mandated to not judge, right? Like it's part of the deal. Matthew, and in Matthew specifically, I think it's Matthew 5, when Jesus talks about the measure you use will be measured against you. Like we should take that stuff like, wow, okay, that's pretty and I'm not saying that to like bash you. I'm saying I do it regularly. And and it's an interesting thing that not only are we told not to do that. We are mandated not to judge, but what I have found just in practical application is when I actually live a life that I'm not judging and I'm not easily annoyed, which is also in the Bible. I'm not constantly like have a victim mentality, or like people are imposing something on me, but I shift it and I just think, how can I like love on this person? How can I, let me just ask this person like who they are, what they're doing, and how's it going, and how are you? When I do those things, typically, even if it starts from a place of judgment or annoyance, it's typically a great conversation, right? Like something comes out of it that's very edifying, and maybe make a new friend, whatever it is. And there's always what is fascinating to me is every time we feel slighted, there's always something. There's typically a reason that is much bigger than us in our small little world and emotions, right? And I remember vividly, this was years and years ago. A buddy of mine, I was trying to hit him. I was trying to reach out to him, connect, talk to him, and he just wasn't responding. And it was a pretty good friend, and he just wasn't responding, and didn't for a long time. And I like got salty, and I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. And finally, when he did respond, I think, a couple weeks later, he's like, man, I was just going through a lot. My mom is sick. She's in the hospital and she passed away. And I was like, ooh, wow,
Like, oh dang,
that's that's
I feel
what you
like
were dealing with,
I feel like a
right?
jerk.
Yeah, I feel like a jerk. And but that's a lot of times it's I guess the point is, especially with judgment, like it's not about you. And if I can live a life where I am able, and it's hard, right? It's hard to live a life where you're able just to try to serve and try to love, and try to be not easily offended. Like that is hard to do. But I'll tell you, when we do it, it's amazing and it's powerful and it's beautiful, and we can do it. You just have to be conscious of it. And so, like today in the gym, you started a certain way, but it was a completely edifying conversation that ended in a completely different way with a man that you're probably going to spend eternity with, uh, at some point, ideally down the road a bit for both of you. But that's kind of you would have never known that if you didn't kind of step back, right? And if he wasn't so persistent in his kindness and his saying hello and wanting to talk and to give you that gift, And so I would just encourage all our listeners, this comes with intentionality. It's hard to break out of the victimhood of my discomfort and my annoyance and my lack of patience. It's hard to break out of that. But if you're intentional enough to be honest and say, this is my lack of impatience, I am being very selfish. The world does not revolve around me. There are other things going on. How can I be a part of serving somebody else and bringing joy to them and happiness? And a lot of times it's as simple as saying, hey, like, how's it going? Like, dude, nice shirt. Dude, I love your chaps, man. Like those are, do you ride motorcycle? Like if you just like ask, like, do you ride, dude, it's like, it's freezing outside. I don't know if in Parker it's like 50 degrees warmer. Dude, it was absolutely
That was
freezing
cold.
this morning.
Yeah, it was cold.
It's like even any of those things, if you find like a place of commonality and a place of joy or a place of just compliment, like it changes the whole dynamic of everything that we've got going on, right? And so I just encourage you to try it out. And if you find yourself being a curmudgeon, like just acknowledge it. Like I'm a curmudgeon. Like I'm being a curmudgeon. Like what can I do about it? Because it doesn't make anybody happy. Nobody around you's happy. You're not happy, but you can flip the switch. Just like if you're fighting with your wife and someone comes and rings the doorbell and you answer like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, what's up, dude?"
Yeah.
Right? Like you change like that. We all have the power to do it. And so I love the story. I love the gift that guy gave you, and the gift that you gave us in the group when you just expressed that. And I just encourage people to be better, man. Just to be nicer human beings, and it's not that hard.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the other thing that I think is powerful, and we touched on it here, and we've touched on it before in other podcasts, is take the opportunity to say hello to people and talk to them, get to know them, get their story, just like you're saying, like find something, say hello. I have found that every single time I've done that, and it's uncomfortable for me. I'm not the normal outgoing David Gutierrez, right? I would I would normally just kind of sit in the corner, get my workout on, not ever say anything to anybody with my headphones in and go about my day. But like every single time I've said hello to a dude at the gym, in the sauna room, at, the kids' sports
Now
events,
it's getting awkward, dude. In the sauna room, getting my
some,
steam on
get some
in my
good conversations
towel.
going.
Great conversation.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like just always fruitful conversations with dudes by just saying hello. So it's encouraging, uh, to me to do more of it, and hopefully this is encouraging others to do the same.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you, man, just a quick tip. Most people, the things they wear, we are what do you call them? Billboards, right?
Yeah.
We are walking billboards, and most people, and it's funny because I try to wear things that like I'm like anti certain brands. Like I'm anti big brands. So I try to like not wear those things because I don't want to be supportive. Whatever. It's stupid. Anyways, my point is at the gym, one of the number one conversation, the way I start conversations, almost 100% of the time is with what somebody's wearing. Like whatever, like a lot of dudes will wear like their military affiliation. That's freaking easy. Easy
Yeah.
and tattoos, right? That and tattoos. I'm like, that's a cool tattoo, man. Like, what is that? Dude, if you ask somebody about their tattoo,
Oh, they're gonna
like
tell you.
most likely it's something that's important to them, or it's like a mistake. Either way, great story, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so like starting conversations is not that hard. It really isn't. Like even I mean, right now I look at you still. I'm like, oh, dude, what is that kinetic man? What is like that? That's kind of what is that?
That's
Like,
happened to
dude,
me.
anything anybody wears is a great and it's such low hanging fruit, and it's so easy to open the door. And I think we make conversations so difficult, man. I
Yeah.
think we make it so hard. Like, oh man, what would I even? Dude, the guy has an army shirt. Like every dude in the gym that has an army shirt, like every one of them. I'm like, dude, really? Army? Like I did that the other day. Guy had a West Point hat on. Well, it turns out his daughter is now at West Point. His son's in the Navy, and he asked if I could potentially talk to his son because he wants to go be an officer and go EOD. And I'm like, dude, I know EOD guys. Like I've got a list of dudes that I could put your son in contact with that would be great resources. All I want to do, I can't really offer anything to him. He's like, that'd be awesome, man. I'd love to connect my son to you, right? And that could be a relationship that goes along. This is in all it started because I was like, dude, West Point, man, like, and usually it's the same thing, man. It's a
Yeah.
tired joke. I'm like, West Point, yeah, I'll get you a Navy hat so that you can actually lift more weight. Like it's that's like a common thing I say, but it has opened so many doors to conversation, and it's not that hard, dude. So
Yeah.
look at
I
someone's shirt, make a comment,
I
giddy
actually
up.
told my bride when I got back to the house, I was like, we need to start making more shirts because this is what started the conversation. And then I reached out to Jay Rum. I was like, dude, I need more wave shirts. And I got some on
No,
order.
seize the day.
Winning a victory of eternal significance.
Yeah, buddy. All right,
Love it.
man. Keep it real.
Bye now.
Nice hat. Nice
You
hat.
too.